Namjoon Paik is often considered to be the father of video installation art. Since his first major exhibition in 1963, Paik's work explored man's relationship with technology through its use as an artistic medium. He was the first artist to own and create art with a video camera, and the first to build a video synthesizer for real-time video manipulation. But he was also intensely aware of the ways technology affects both our experience and the idea of art. From Monet to Joseph Kosuth, people tried everything. After that, in painting's world, everything was done. You could only do so much within the limited styles of painting, from realistic to abstract to conceptual art. One way to move painting forward was to inject the element of time.
He was coming from an era, recent era of art, where a painting depicted reality. It hung on a gallery wall as something eternal and fixed. Namjoon realized that the new age was all about change and flux and motion.
The Paik piece I'm interested in is TV Buddha. It's just an 18th century Buddha statue sitting across from a television and a closed-circuit camera. That's it. While Paik would change the statue and the television over the years, its hypnotic and perplexing features remain constant. Has the Buddha achieved enlightenment by watching itself on television? Do we understand ourselves through self-images? What happens if the loop is broken, either by someone standing in front of the camera or turning the television off? A positive reading might say that enlightenment, or the discovery of a deeper self, is achieved by full recognition of the present moment, which we can do through technology. But what if all we can experience is the present moment, and technology traps us in the now of constantly watching ourselves on a television screen? Then the TV Buddha might be an example of what Paul Virilio in Open Sky called the citizen terminal, or the catastrophic figure of the individual who has lost the capacity for immediate intervention. Zen Buddhism, however, the deepest level of the self is the here and now. The Buddha is thought to have said, the past is already gone, the future is not yet here. There's only one moment for you to live, and that is the present moment. But what about who we have been, or who we could be? Do they relate to the deepest self? According to Professor of Religion J. McDaniel, when one attains enlightenment in Zen, the reality of this self is uncovered in an intuitive and non-discursive way, and it is seen that this self is both always here and now and always changing. This realization marks the beginning of a new way of experiencing based on the reality of the self. And as much as the self is always here and now, one lives fully and creatively in the present. Inasmuch as it is always changing, one realizes the impossibility of clinging to any particular moment of the self's existence. In a certain sense, the self is a groundless ground. One cannot cling to oneself, one can only be oneself at each moment. As Uman, a Chinese Zen master, put it, when walking, just walk. When sitting, just sit. Above all, don't wobble. That's certainly the case with TV Buddha. The Buddha is sitting, and not wobbling, in contemplation of his immediate present self as articulated by the television screen. He's achieved enlightenment, right? Well, according to Paul Virilio, no. For Virilio, the Buddha represents a citizen terminal discussed earlier who lacks natural motoricity and who abandons himself to the captors, sensors, and scanners which do his talking for him. The Buddha is having the present moment delivered to him through no effort of his own. He's a couch potato. According to Ivan Sandler, the sculpture of a seated Buddha looking at his own image in a closed circuit on the TV screen is hilarious. A motionless sculpture looking at her motionless mirror image. The Buddha as a media star and couch potato in a Buddha sitcom. There's more to enlightenment than the here and now, however. As mentioned above, enlightenment also involves the self who is always changing, which involves some idea of duration. You have to know where you've been to know that you've changed. McDaniel explains that enlightenment is achieved by the mediation of the first and third perspectives, both of which are present in TV Buddha. In Zen Buddhism, first person is preferred. It is enlightenment as an uncovering of what has always been present from a first-person point of view. When asked the Buddha's name, he is reported to have replied, "I am awake." This is the perspective of the statue. The third-person perspective is represented by the television and the image on the screen. The process of reaching enlightenment is attempting to hold both of those perspectives at the same time, attempting not to wobble, recognizing change and the here and now. This process is represented by the continuous closed-circuit loop of the statue washing itself. As Philip Kennicott explains in the Washington Post, this isn't a mirror, but something else, a phantasmagorical double of the image, with a strange and uncanny power. You have the sense that if the Buddha's spectral TV image ever went off, the statue itself might disappear. Certainly, it would lose the appearance of consciousness, which Paik's clever arrangement has imputed to it. But the statue doesn't change. It's inert. Namjoon Paik took the statue's place when it was first exhibited at the Project 74 exhibition in Cologne, and this is perhaps the fullest articulation of the work, as Paik represents the changing human subject merging with technology to achieve enlightenment. Humans change all the time. Our selves die and are replaced. But technology can help us discover our true selves by placing us fully in the now, and by giving us the ability to recognize duration through recording. The image of the Buddha contemplating itself is pretty narcissistic, though. Can we really achieve enlightenment through technology? For Virilio, the answer is a definitive no, and that's because teletechnologies have effectively done away with duration. These technologies, like closed-circuit cameras and television screens, collapse space, light, and time into each other. Space becomes the time it takes a message to travel, and for teletechnologies, this is essentially the speed of light. Teletechnologies kill present time by isolating it from its here and now in favor of a commutative elsewhere which no longer has anything to do with concrete presence in the real world. The realities of distance and the passage of time are transformed and brought to us in a near instantaneous process, rendering us inert. The Buddha is not the enlightened one, but a couch potato, who has no concept of time. Is it possible to achieve enlightenment in what Paul Virilio calls a civilization of forgetting? A live, covered society that has no future and no past, since it has no extension and no duration? A society intensely present here and there at once, telepresent to the whole world? While we may try, through sensors and receptors, to fully experience the present and all its instantaneous data, it may become increasingly difficult to acquire a sense of duration, to achieve any sort of enlightenment and personal discovery. Either TV Buddha is a person turned into stone by teletechnology, or a path to enlightenment through recognition of the now.
Stop torturing yourself, man! You'll never afford it! Live in the now!
In either case, it's very clear, in the words of Marshall McLuhan, that we become what we behold.